Hey, Slapdog! The Brainiacs are ready.
Welcome into LeatherBrainz. Your host, Slapdog here, and I am joined today by my very good friend, Alan Casanova Castro. Scotty is not present here with us, but hope everybody had a safe and wonderful Labor Day weekend, and welcome to LeatherBrainz. We have made it, Alan.
We did it, baby.
It's week one. Week one of football is finally freaking here. This is Christmas for me. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I am so excited. We've waited for so long for NFL football. It's right here. Thursday night. Yeah. It kicks off.
We get it all back. I love also watching college, so I watched a lot of college football this weekend. I know Slaps. We were just talking about, I was in Kansas City for the Huskers-Cincinnati game, saw some of the NFL Kansas City boys, Travis and Mahomes and Pacheco, and they were all there. So it was like it was a teaser because this was at Arrowhead, but it was a college game. So it was just a little NFL.
You wouldn't know it was a college game, though. That stadium looked full.
It was packed.
Yeah.
It was jam-packed.
Yeah, go Skurs, baby. Well, I'm glad you brought this up. Obviously, both of us are Huskers fans, and we love our Huskers. But there were a couple things that were kind of funny that I don't think got talked about enough. And one of them was a lot of people were just excited that Taylor Swift finally knows where Nebraska might be. So that was one thing. But the really funny thing is, and I don't know if you have heard about this or seen this, but there was after the game, after the Huskers won, the Nebraska Athletic Department, the official Twitter or X now of the Nebraska Huskers, they had posted it was a Photoshop of our mascot Herbie Husker in place of Travis Kelce when they're kissing because they had just gotten engaged, and so it was Herbie Husker and Taylor Swift is kissing Herbie Husker. It was a great Photoshop, and immediately all the Swifties got so mad, and they're like, "This is disgusting. This is terrible. This needs to be taken down." And they actually bent the knee and took the post down, which I think is BS. Because it was hilarious. It's so funny, and it's like, you don't know if Travis is in that.
Why was that disgusting?
Because Swifties are just.
Have they never been on the internet? There's some dark corners of the internet.
I know. You can find way worse Taylor Swift stuff than her kissing
give me like
the Huskers
2 minutes.
mascot.
Give me 30 seconds. I'll find you something way worse.
Yeah, I was like, grow up. I'm like, this is hilarious, and the fact that it came from the Huskers themselves was just awesome. I think. Whether
good.
It be collegiate or NFL, whatever, like, you got to lean more into that.
Oh, yeah. That stadium was freaking out, though, because you could see Travis and Taylor in the box, and everybody was like, oh, that's hilarious. It's funny to think that, like, how far we've come in just a few years. It was like, oh, I think Taylor and Travis are dating, and it was a big news. And now you fast forward to this, and she's watching a Huskers Cincinnati game. It's like, how did we get to this? This storyline is quite amazing. It's hilarious that now she saw Matt Rule and she saw mini Mahomesing.
Yeah.
Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah. Well, and I don't even know if we've talked on this show officially about the engagement, because that was still pretty recent news. Have we covered that?
Should we just start with that really quick?
I think we should. Let's
get
do
that off the books.
Yeah. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift announced that they're engaged, Alan. I don't know if you heard this. I mean,
the whole world heard it.
Yeah, everybody did.
When it gets a Shefty tweet,
which a lot of people are pissed that Shefty was like.
I don't know why people get upset about that.
Either.
Just it's an entertainment. It's entertainment.
The whole thing is entertainment. Even the sport of the NFL is entertainment.
Yeah, people get way too worked up over nothing. But I thought it was hilarious. He is engaged. That's crazy. I mean, it sounds like they kept it a secret for a while too, which I don't know how in the modern day of the internet and knowing where everybody is and satellites, etc., that he kept a secret. But I mean, they did it. Everybody thought it was a hoax, but they're now engaged.
They are engaged. And this leads me to my next thought is this is his last year. There's no chance that this is not Kelce's last year. Like, you agree with that, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. I thought last year I thought he was going to hang it up after the Super Bowl regardless of what happened. It just felt like, because we knew he was going to be in some movies. He's doing extracurricular shit. Like, you could tell he was planning for the life after football, which some people might get upset about, but he's older. Like, what is he supposed to do?
What, 36?
Ignore the rest of his life because he's got like a year left on, his deal. And so I thought last year was going to be his last year, but then when he announced he came back, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm like 99% sure that's his last year. And now he gets engaged, and I'm like, okay, it's 1,000% sure this is his last year. It just went up and up and up. So yeah, he's going to be moving on, but I think that's going to be like the royal wedding. This is America's royal wedding. Yeah, we had to watch, that bullshit that I have no idea what goes on over there. But now this is ours. Like, we're going to make them watch this shit. So like Americans just need to band together and just be like, you're going to listen to this guy. You're going to watch this guy that can't spell squirrel. And you're going to watch this girl who sings all this music and had just one of the biggest, shows in history. And you're going to watch them get married. And we're going to force this down your throat.
Well, there were so many memes that were floated around on the internet about the engagement and also Swift and both the Kelsey brothers going to this game. And it was a picture of Travis, Taylor, and Jason all in a line together. And then the other picture was both Travis and Jason's like pictures in college. And it was like, who would have thought that one of these men is on GQ magazine for being sexiest man alive and the other one is getting married to Taylor Swift? And I was like, that's fair. Because if you look at their college pictures, they both look like goobs.
They definitely, money helps, but sure. They definitely, they had a glow up as they go. The one tweet I saw that killed me was like, is everybody going to get confused when Travis has he changes his last name to Swift in the middle of the season?
Yeah, it's like, there's been so many people giving him crap for his like handle on social medias too, and it's like, oh, look at Taylor Swift and her man Killatrav. You know what I think is hilarious is like he's unapologetically himself. He's been like that since he first came into the league, and it's like, I don't know. It's just who he is. I don't think there's much going on between the ears. He's just having fun, having a good time. And I think it drives some people crazy, but it's like, even if you tried to like go insult him, I'm not sure he would fully interpret it as an insult. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're arguing with the wall right now. Yeah.
If you're like upset about any of that. It's like arguing with Gronk.
Which
it's like,
okay, I wouldn't go to that far. Like Gronk is pretty low on the poll for me of like intelligence level. But I think that's what makes Travis so great is it's like he's unapologetically him. Like he's not going to try and impress you or be anything more than who he is. And so that's one of the things I actually really like about him.
Yeah, I do too. There's a few guys in the league like that, like Kittle, where you're just like
Jameis Winston.
Yeah, exactly. Winston for sure.
Yeah.
Winston is hilarious. I saw he was doing Roback commercials and I watched one and I'm like, this, whenever they sign that contract, they're like, we know what we're getting.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be unhinged.
Which honestly, we're talking about JMO, or I really hope like he stays relevant, not as a quarterback in the league, because I think his time is coming to a close here in the next few years, but like as an entertainment value, the league needs to figure out a way, whether he's a sideline reporter or whatever, like he has to be involved because he's so good at it. I think his place, I think the cloth he should try to get in with is like, and I know he kind of is, because Roback I think is akin to like the Barstool stuff. Yeah.
I think that's that's going to be his entry point. I think they're going to get him into those podcasts, get him creating content for them, just kind of give him the steering wheel to a lot of what he wants to drive there. But I think that's what he should do, because that more suits his personality. But it would be hilarious watching somebody like on the morning NFL show try to have like a serious conversation with him. You know what I mean?
He's just over there.
There's multiple ways. Eating W's. There's multiple ways you go. But yeah, so
gotta
entertain it. Entertainment.
It is entertainment, and let's just talk about the breaking entertaining news here about Micah Parsons. This was huge. Dallas traded two-time All-Pro Bowler Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for 2 first-round picks, as well as obtaining 3-time Pro Bowl defensive line Kenny Clark in the trade package. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, and we're going to do it. But before we do that, I do have to say this is now the 5th non-quarterback in the 2025 market to reset the non-quarterback contract record. Micah is now the highest paid non-quarterback. He signed a 4-year, $188 million contract, putting him $6 million higher than the second highest paid player, being TJ Watt. And this is non-quarterbacks, of course. This was huge. There's a lot of comedy, question marks, head scratches. I'll start with Jerry Jones. I don't know if you saw the clip about Jerry Jones. He was in a presser after the trade had happened, and Jerry had stated that the Packers needed to, quote, focus more on stopping the run, and that is why they traded him.
The funniest thing he said was, we got 2 first-round picks. These guys could be difference makers. And it's like, yeah, or you actually had the difference maker and you could have just signed him and just paid him. The most, okay, if let's say all roads led to you trading Micah, like let's say this is where it went. This should have been done in March and April when there would have been a bidding war. Yeah. You would have literally had a bidding war, and it would have been, honestly, they probably could have gotten more than this from a team. A team would have been able to, because there is not many times in NFL history where a edge rusher,
at his
Pro
age,
Bowl,
in
all
the prime,
pro edge rusher in his prime becomes available for you. You can't even draft that.
No,
there's not a scenario where you can actually get this again. Well, it does not happen.
And look at you mentioned drafting. Like, look at the perennial like high end guys. You're still hoping they hit, and teams will take them. Or look at Aiden Hutchinson. Like, teams will take a defensive line. That's the 2 most important positions in NFL. Is a defensive lineman and a quarterback. And when you have a upper echelon defensive line or have the opportunity to try and get one, like, teams will take 3rd, 4th overall pick and try and hit on one of those guys. Cowboys had one.
It is one of the few positions outside of the quarterback where it is a true difference maker on the field.
Yeah.
Having the ability to just rush the quarterback and create havoc is one of the hardest things to get and find in pro football outside of a blitz, because you don't even have to blitz him. Like, Micah's just going to go do that.
Yeah.
And that afforded you so many opportunities, which is hilarious. And I know it's in our notes, but even them signing DaRon Bland
after he gets traded,
after they do this, it's like, do you not functionally understand that Micah Parsons' ability to rush the quarterback without a blitz was allowing these cornerbacks to actually do some of these things?
Yeah.
But this is Jerry Jones. He prioritizes the wrong things. He goes about it the wrong way. He doesn't value the positions he should value, and he overvalues positions you really shouldn't put that much stock into.
Did you just say Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah, we're all thinking it. And that's, because I know we've even said this before, like the spiral of this current Cowboys team was when they let Amari Cooper go because they signed Zeke to a large contract. That was like the spiral.
Yeah. Because
now you didn't have Amari, you had CD, you're trying to work pieces in, you were still needing playmakers. And it's like, then Zeke quickly got fat and old. No offense. That happens.
Hey,
he just did it. He just did it. And now we're at this other point in time where now they had to trade Micah Parsons because Jerry Jones is like on his high horse. And have you watched America's Team on Netflix yet?
I've not yet. It's on my things to watch list.
Watch that. I think a lot of that is applicable here.
Yeah.
Because it explains basically how Jerry Jones has been doing this since the 90s, where he's just trying to dick players over to get the most amount of money. Mm-hmm. He keep his money and he doesn't want to pay them, but the Cowboys Jerry Jones has to sell the team. This is just unreal. I can't even imagine trying to be a fan of this team right now and watching just the dysfunction at like an all-time level.
There was a clip of a kid, he's a Cowboys fan, and he was getting picked up from school, and his mom was like, "Hey, did you hear the news?" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, the mom was like, "Micah Parsons just got traded to the Packers." And the kid just starts laughing, and he goes, "You're lying." And she's like, "No, like, I'm serious." And then the kid started bawling, and I was like, dang, like, I mean, like, tears, like, just shell shocked. And this is a young little kid, and it's like, there are grown adults that probably feel the same freaking way that you just did. So it's got to be tough. I think I know, or at least have an idea as far as why Jerry Jones may have done it. And I want to pick your brain on this one. So we do know Jerry loves Ezekiel Elliott. We were just mentioning him earlier. He signed him to a long-term deal. We also know that Jerry does have some risque pictures of Ezekiel Elliott on his phone. Do we think that maybe he traded Micah Parsons because Micah refused to give him some risque pictures to kind of add to his portfolio?
Probably. I could see Micah saying no, man.
Hey, you're
not going to give you that. I could see Zeke saying yes, and I could see Zeke and Dak saying yes.
And Micah put his foot down.
Micah saying no. Yeah, I could see him saying no. I think Jerry Jones is trying to create his team like it's the 90s still.
Yeah.
And he does not know how modern NFL works. And I think
I don't think he knows how a lot of things work at this point.
Well, that's true.
But and the craziest part is, and if you reverse the tapes and listen to us a year ago, we saw this coming from a mile away. Like, we were talking about this at the beginning of last season because it was going to come to fruition. So The exact conversation that we had was CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons. All three big name guys. All three have not been paid. They're going to have to get paid. And the likelihood that there's an odd man out is really high. We had said this. And at the time, none of them were under contract coming into 2025. And we were like, okay, he's got to pay some of these guys. What does he do here? Now we've seen it come to, we've seen the proof in the pudding of what he has chosen to do. I don't agree with it. And I said, you sign CD, you sign Micah, and then you figure it out with Dak.
That was the correct answer. Was that what you said? And I think we all kind of agreed on that. It was like, you got to keep CD, you got to keep Micah, and you just let Dak roll out, and you find something else, and don't pay him and free that money up so you can do other things with your roster.
And it didn't. And then like you mentioned, they signed DaRon Bland right after that, which everybody's like, you got to be kidding me. And that's not to say Bland is a bad player, because he's great, but after
he had 1 year, he had one solid year, and now a lot of that was honestly probably because of the front that Dallas had that was able to get pressure on that. A lot of I think they are going to see it in the worst way. The Cowboys fans are going to see this in the worst way, where they're like, wait, our corners actually aren't that good. We can't get pressure without blitzing.
So, I mean, week 1 right here, Cowboys play the Eagles on Thursday night. We're excited for this game. I think I have the Eagles winning, or I had the Eagles winning this game, but I thought it could get interesting. And now that Micah's not there, there's not even the interesting part for me. It's the Eagles all the way.
Oh yeah, you lose your best player probably on your team. More than I would say, that's probably the best player on their team and the best player on their defense when you have to walk into Philadelphia as they're hanging a Super Bowl banner and they already hate you. Yeah. And now you just lost your best player. And now they know it. They know that you're limping. If I'm that Eagles organization, I am going to make the statement of all statements to say, like, we are going to repeat. We are starting it today against Dallas, and we're just going to blow the doors off of them. I hope that's how they go. You never know with these game ones where the letdown happens, who's not focused, but I would be surprised. I know it's like 7.5 right now for the Eagles, which is an insane week 1 line, but it is. I just don't see this being close at all. I see this being pretty well in hand by half.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But the other thing I want to have while we're still kind of on the Micah side of things here is, what does this do for the NFC North in your mind? Because this was already, I admittedly, I had some Packers fans come over on X and give me some heat because I had the Packers finishing last in the division. Now I'm not so sure. But the NFC is now in this trade alone has made it that much more interesting in a division that was already the hardest division in football. You had the Packers, I think, winning or very close to winning, if memory serves. What does this trade do for the NFC North and the Packers in your mind?
Well, so for the North, I'll start with the North and then I'll go to what it does for the East. But for the North, I don't know. Now it puts the Packers right there. Now you almost have to consider them, one of the favorites. It's like them or the Lions now that you're one with. And the Lions, honestly, like they're rolling over an OC. Their interior of their line is getting reshuffled. Their defense, Hutchinson's coming back, but there's no guarantee he's just going to show up and be the guy he was before. You're going to have some downturn, and that's a lot to demand of Goff in the running game with like a lot of question marks over. I think what this does for the Packers is it gives them realistic hope. I think to not only win that division, but also be one of the top 2 seeds in the NFC. That you get literally one of the best, if not the best pass rusher in the NFL now on your team when your team was already pretty solid. And now that makes things a lot easier for your offense. And so I think for the North, I think what it does, it's now it's a 2-horse race for me. It's Lions or Packers. Cause now it's like, that is a thing that makes it a cornerstone. Like you need a Mount Rushmore of players if you're trying to go win a Super Bowl. And I think that like almost rounds out or starts to solidify the Packers like Mount Rushmore.
No, I agree. I don't have the Packers finishing at the bottom of the North anymore. This trade really skewed that for me. And admittedly, I think I got to put the Vikings down there, and I'll go Vikings, Bears.
Yeah. We can't put the Bears on there because we're a Bears podcast.
Yeah, so I can't put them
Bears. The Bears aren't going down there.
No. So, they. Sorry,
Vikings. You're
at the bottom. You're at the bottom. You got to be. Someone's got to be. the other thing from a Packers side of things that really gets interesting is, this tells me that if you're going to go in and make this trade as a Packers organization, my biggest concerns for the Packers really was like, what does this offense look like? And, we haven't seen a true wide receiver one, bloom from this team. You could argue maybe Jaden Reed, more of a gadget guy. And then you have a bunch of kind of wide receiver twos. Tucker Kraft came on the scene second half of last year and was pretty great. And so now, they have Matthew Golden. I think they feel comfortable and confident in their offense here, and that's what this trade signified to me. Because if you're going to forfeit 2 first-round picks to go really stabilize your defense, you have to believe in your offense, and that's kind of what I took away from this as well. Is okay, they believe that they have the guys they need to compete at a high level from an offensive standpoint if they're going to go make this trade. So, and it also, like you mentioned, helps the offense quite a lot too, because when your defense can play at a level that Micah Parsons brings to the table, you don't need to rely on your offense as much as maybe you did before this.
Yeah, I think it's all going to center around Jordan Love. He's got to take one more step up.
Yeah,
because I think the thing, and this happens anytime you first get enamored with a quarterback, is you're like, okay, this is their baseline that I'm watching, and I think we all kind of do this inherently. Like you see Jaden Daniels last year with the Commanders, you're like, all right, this is your baseline, but like maybe it's not, and I think what you need to see from Jordan Love is, I know last year he dealt with an injury. I think you got to keep him healthy, and he's got to take a step forward. I think he's got to throw for at least 35 touchdowns this year. He's got to put the team on his back. He's got to show that he can deliver in big moments and command it. And I think that's what they need to see out of this team. If he can do that, I do think the players around him are good enough. You don't need to have Justin Jefferson.
That's a lot to put on his shoulders too.
It is, but I think if he is and I think Packers fans, I don't know if you give him truth serum. I don't know if they're like 100%.
I agree with you there.
I don't think they're 100%. I think they're hopeful.
Yes.
I think he has the tools and he can do it. But I don't know if he can deliver again. And that is the thing. I think he could. Obviously, we saw him do it in Dallas, which, was good for that moment in time. But now you need to take that next step forward. And I think it's gotta be on him because, like you were just saying, I'm not like disgusted with their wide receiver core, but it isn't elite. But if he can step his game up, it will help. It'll naturally step everybody else.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
That'll be good enough for them. That'll be good enough for them to win the division. To be good enough for them to get, the 1, 2, 3 seed in the NFC, and then battle it out and see what you can get. And I think that's what they need. They need to keep Jordan Love healthy, and he's got to step his game up. That's the key to success. I think Micah Parsons just makes it a lot sweeter because you're going to get a few more opportunities as an offense now.
Yeah.
To get the football because he now exists on your team, which is always encouraging.
Yeah. Still that I on our main Twitter account over at LeatherBrainz, I had tweeted, this was me, I will own up to this. There's a couple people who, our social media team, there's a couple people who have access to that account. I had in jest, because I didn't think it actually would happen, said, if Micah Parsons gets traded, I'll do something crazy. And I didn't think it was going to happen. And then about an hour or two later, the news broke that he got traded, and I'm like, I'm going to have to do something crazy. So
yeah, what's the crazy thing?
That's what I kind of want to ask you, if you have any ideas. There were some fans of the show that had suggested I eat the world's hottest chip, which is an interesting one. There were some also probably more profane ones that I don't think I'm going to do. But I don't know if anything came to mind for you.
Okay, there's two things. One, there's a hilarious one that always keeps rolling around that like I'll do whatever the top liked comment was. And the funniest one I've ever seen was let a homeless guy get you pregnant, which makes me laugh. So like that's kind of hilarious.
I can't get pregnant. I just want to let you know
here's the second thing. Here's the second thing I will tell you is that there is very famously a Florida State Seminole football fan on X said he would eat a piece of shit. And I forget what the bet ultimately was, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it when he said he would. And then the next season, Florida State won 3 games and they never recovered. And then Florida State came out and beat Alabama. I don't know if you saw this last weekend. Upset Alabama at home.
Yeah.
And Alabama being a top 10 team. And we caused a lot of speculation on X. Like, did this guy secretly eat the shit to like undo the curse? All I'm saying is I don't know what misfortune actually falls on somebody that doesn't go through with it, but we got to pick something that you could actually go through with. So
I'll do it, and I'll do it here on the show.
I'm happy you said something crazy.
Yeah.
I think if some people were suggesting the chip, that'd be good. I don't know if that's crazy, but we can roll with it and see if it appeases the football gods. All I'm saying is I'm warning you that if you don't go through with it, bad things could happen to your teams, and we've seen it happen. So I just don't want you to go down this road.
I said something crazy. I didn't say like I was gonna fuck a homeless guy. That's a little. I think there's a barometer of crazy, and that's pretty high up there. I don't want to try it. I think I'd rather eat the spicy chip, and I'm fine with that. I would eat the spicy chip. Whatever we'll do live.
Can you do spicy stuff?
Yeah, it's gonna kill me, but yes, I can do it. Like I'm
like okay. All I'm saying is like your spicy threshold is. Do you normally eat spicy things?
Yes, I like spicy food.
Okay, so you like spicy things. So this is not going to be like a huge step up, but I think if you eat that was like a Pocky chip or whatever it's called.
I'm afraid, like I'm not like excited about it, and I know I'm gonna have to have a gallon of milk here and probably also a trash can if I throw up. Okay. But I'll do it on the show.
Okay, so we have to do it quickly because I just don't want anything. I don't know who it's gonna affect. And here's the thing: it could affect the Cardinals.
Fine.
It could affect Dan Campbell.
No, wait. Okay, hold on.
So all I'm saying is, you just don't know where the gods are going to go with this. Yeah. You just have to like get it over with, or just like have a point in time. So if we say like next episode you're eating that chip, I think
I'll do it.
I'll smooth things over. Okay,
I'll do it.
Okay, I'll look. I'll make sure we have it.
Okay. So that's Micah in a nutshell. No, it was.
We went from Micah Parsons to Florida State Seminole guy on Twitter eating poop
to having sex with homeless people. All right, rivalry uniforms. So last week the NFL had announced there were 8 teams that released rivalry uniforms, and really my biggest takeaway from this was I'm so thankful that NFL executives are finally listening to our show and actually taking what we're saying and implementing it into the NFL, because we have been big stands of we need more jerseys, we need more like unique, cool looking shit. And there were some teams, I won't say all 8 of these teams have really cool looking uniforms, but these rivalry uniforms are essentially just, it's a fancy way to say some alternate uniforms that look pretty sweet, and they'll play in their rivalry, like against their rivals. So the teams that did this were the Bills, Dolphins, 49ers, Cardinals, Patriots, Jets, Rams, and Seahawks. Which one did you think hit the mark, and which one do you think missed the mark?
My favorite was the Bills. I am generally a fan of like when teams bust out like all white uniforms. I think it's just a clean look overall, but I thought for the Bills it looks sweet because you have like this silver buffalo on the helmet. I thought that one was probably the best.
Yeah, the iced out.
As far as ones that I didn't really care for, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I thought they're okay. There was the Rams one was, I like the Rams one too because I like the all blacks. I thought that one.
I didn't care for the Rams ones a whole lot. I do like the black. It just there wasn't the 49ers enough there.
Did that too, yeah.
I love the 49ers one. The 49ers is probably my favorite, which I shouldn't be saying as a Cardinals fan. And our jerseys, I couldn't figure out what the hell it was for a long time because they announced it, and I like
yours might be the worst.
Yeah, I like zoomed
now that
in,
I'm re-looking at it.
And I was like, what is this? It just looks blurry. And then I watched the video and I was like, oh, they're going for like a dust theme, and so I'm calling it the tortilla uniforms because that's what it looks like.
That's a really good. It just looks like somebody dropped it. It looks like that was the box of uniforms that fell out of the truck when NFL was delivering them, and they're just like, I guess that's their jersey. Just throw them back in and end them out.
Doesn't look great.
That one's probably worse. That or New England. I don't know.
New England's looks almost like their regular jerseys in a lot of ways. Yeah, and I was like, this isn't that cool. I like the Bills ones.
Buffalo was probably my favorite.
49ers was mine, which pains me to say as a Cardinals fan, but I was like, these are kind of cool. I like these. They look suave. They look like cool and different, but also in a weird way, kind of classic, but in a suave fashion. Is how I would.
I like them. I like them. I still wish they would have taken our advice where your actual rival has to design your uniform.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna keep pushing the narrative. Like this conversation's not done. It is for today, but as LeatherBrainz progresses, we're gonna continue to push that hard. Colts general manager Chris Ballard, he was very adamant and a presser that they were not interested in trading their former first-round pick Anthony Richardson, despite benching him for Daniel Jones. And I've got some quotes from him that I'll read here. So both of them competed professional, battle to the end, and at the end of the day, Daniels won the job, Ballard told reporters. Does this mean that we're down on Anthony? No. but I don't want to dismiss that Daniel, he's had a good run here. Reminds me a lot of Alex Smith that we had in Kansas City, who I thought was just the ultimate professional day in and day out. So he's already comparing Daniel Jones to Alex Smith, which is wild. The team knew exactly what they were getting. I feel that's kind of the same thing with Daniel. So I know the story's always been about Anthony, but also let's don't lose sight of Daniels. He did some good things, and he's been a really good professional. He's been through a lot. And then, they pivoted over to Richardson, and he said, I know the negativity. It's easy to say, okay, he's done, and I just don't agree. I've said this numerous times. I don't agree with that narrative. I think overcoming challenges and obstacles along the way are good for anybody. I do. I'm proud of Anthony, of where he's at and how far he's come. He's come miles. Now, to continue to do that, that's when we've got a chance to see some real growth. There's a lot of value in sitting behind a guy that's a professional and watching and learning and growing and working on the things you need to work on without the same pressure of being the starter. There is. That's a lot of good. There's a lot of good to that.
You already know my thoughts, so I'll let you say whatever.
I just don't understand. I genuinely, I don't hate the fact that they went with Daniel Jones, but like that to me signifies one of there's really one of two trains that you can get on here in this narrative. It's either A, they're going to roll Daniel Jones out. He's going to probably underperform, and then you're going to give Richardson the opportunity to close out the year and see if you have anything left in him. I think that is a fair narrative and a fair train to get on. The other train is that the Colts actually genuinely believe that Daniel Jones is going to be a difference maker for them and be able to elevate them and maybe potentially be a longer term solution for them, and that's why they've rolled him out here. And if that is actually the train that they're on, why would you not just trade Richardson and move on? Like, take the picks. You missed out on what you thought was going to be your guy. Take the picks and move on.
I think the problem is they don't want the egg on their face when they try to put him on the trade market, because I don't think
take like a fourth round instead of the first that they spent.
Yeah, I just think they're not going to get anything near what they wasted on him, which is fine. And I think teams admit that and move on. And that's not like you don't try to go 1-for-1, but I think.
Look at Trey Lance.
He's a career 50% completion guy. He's thrown more picks than touchdowns in his career so far in the NFL. At some point that is who you are. And I think I appreciate the sentiment around Daniel Jones saying that he's Alex Smith, while I think that's wildly inaccurate because Alex Smith was a hell of a quarterback. I think he's doing that to also say and admit that maybe he's trying to help Anthony Richardson to some degree. Maybe it's with his work ethic, or maybe it's how he's reading defenses. I have no idea exactly what that is, but not trading him, I think, ultimately signals to me that he doesn't actually believe that first statement of Daniel Jones being the true starter. Agreed. I think he is the starter, and that's fine because you can't have both quarterbacks out there. But again, if we did the whole truth serum thing, I think the elephant in the room is they don't actually believe Daniel Jones is a long-term solution either. So I think they're hoping that Richardson can continue to develop and be maybe something that they can throw out there. So I don't think they ever do want to trade him. But I think even if they did, I don't know who is going to pony up anything to get
Steelers. Mike Tomlin has famously, and I won't say famously, but there has been chatter that Mike Tomlin has reached out about the inquiry of purchasing Anthony Richardson. And that's where it gets kind of interesting is a team like the Steelers, you're on a 1-year rental with Aaron Rodgers. Do you throw a third-round flyer out there and see if you can develop him? I'd be okay with that. I would.
You would be because you have him in fantasy.
No, even just as the kid is an athletic.
You want him to move.
Well, I do want him to move. Yes.
You want him to move somewhere where he can give you some juice.
Yeah, but I'm really truly trying to take the fantasy side out of this and just look at this and what's the alternative? At some point, you're going to cut the cord. Look at what happened with Trey Lance. Agree. They spent 3 first-round picks on him. They traded him to Dallas for a 5th-round pick. So, either he's the guy or cut bait and move on.
That's what I was saying. That's why they don't think Daniel Jones
and that's why I kind of believe the first narrative that I said where it's train number 1 is they don't actually think Daniel Jones is their long-term solution, and they want to see maybe potentially Richardson could come back and look.
Yeah, I think they're holding out hope. They're all right, both of these are these are just not good options. We have 2 shit sandwiches that we have to consume in front of us, and we'll just have to figure out which one we're okay with as we move forward. I just don't think I don't think either of them are long-term solutions for the Colts at the quarterback position. The quarterback of the future for the Colts is currently on another roster or currently in college. Like that's what we're looking at right now. And they're trying to figure out how they navigate this situation now.
Sure. And the Saints,
With
you could say the same thing. Let's talk about somebody who's also not going to be around for a while, being Rashee Rice. Chiefs wide receiver has been suspended for 6 games due to his joyriding antics and running from the scene of a crime, which means inevitably, Alan, your Chiefs once again will have to wait to see their full starting wide receiver room for at least a quarter of the regular season.
Still got to do it. That sucks. I'm actually happy that we got this out of the way. I think doing it in the middle of the season would have been even worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think giving him a few games and then going away and then trying to figure it out and then bringing him back is worse. I actually like this where he gets 6 games. Everybody forgets he's still coming back from injury. It's not like he was rolling out there and everybody was 100% okay with like, hey, he's back. Everything with his knee is good to go. He's actually still working his way back. So I think giving him 6 more weeks to continue to work out with the team and develop and, you know, whatever he needs to do to that knee to get it healthy and then be there for the long road. Like the Chiefs know who they are. It's not like they're trying to uncover what they're trying to do. While it would be nice to have all of them out there, I think it's actually probably better that they have them towards the end of the season, middle end of season, than it is losing him right away.
Do you have any concerns with the Chiefs, you know, with Rice not being there in a division that seems to be warming up and getting a little bit heavier in the competition? Do you have any concerns that without having him out there for 6 weeks, like this could be a little bit more interesting than in years past?
It could be, but I mean, Rice was out pretty quick. They lost Hollywood Brown.
They lost everybody,
and then Rice was out right away. So you had Xavier Worthy and Kelsey running around,
and Juju. Put some respect on.
And Juju. Well, and Juju's still there.
Yes.
Juju's still there, and you have Hollywood, and you have Xavier, who has another year under his belt. I think the Chiefs. I think they'll be okay. Is it optimal? Absolutely not. But I think they'll be okay. You just kind of want to weather the storm through a suspension and see where it gets you at the end. You know, I don't think they're going to go undefeated. I don't think they're gonna win every game. I think they're gonna feel the pain of not having Rashee Rice. But
well, they play the Chargers.
I think this is probably good.
They play the Chargers week 1 here on a Friday night game, which is kind of
in
abnormal.
Brazil, baby.
Yeah. You know, what are your thoughts going into this game?
It's a divisional game. They know each other. Harbaugh's a damn good coach. I think the thing for the Chargers is like losing Slater, their tackle. That sucks because that's what keeps them afloat. I don't know. Playmakers don't necessarily scare me all too much on the Chargers end. I think they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to do what Harbaugh wants to do. And I think in openers, I trust Reed. It's just you never know with these Brazil. Like when you go out of the country,
that's another thing that makes
weird,
it hard.
Like who knows? You don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea. Something weird's going to happen. You have no idea. Something weird will happen one way or another because it always does.
Chiefs lose by 40. You heard it from Alan's mouth himself. Panthers, they traded away wide receiver Adam Thielen to the Vikings in exchange for a 4th and a 5th round pick. And I'm going to say this, Alan, I do love a good tear-filled hometown reunion. You know, Thielen used to play for the Vikings. He's back with them again. But does this trade signify any concerns about the Vikings offense by signing Thielen, who is honestly old as shit? I mean, he is an old wide receiver. Is this more due to like the Addison suspension, or, you know, is there concern here with them signing him from what they're telling us? Because this signing tells me they're kind of desperate for wide receiver. What's on your mind?
Yeah, they were shopping for a while.
Yeah.
And I think Thielen's name was rumored a few times even before this officially happened, and then the Panthers were like, no, we're keeping him, we love him. And then, you know, the price was right, and if the price is right, you'll do anything.
Sure.
The Vikings problems are still at quarterback, in my opinion. I don't know if JJ's gonna be the guy. I think we've talked about this many times, and it still rings true. I can't wait to see this as the season kind of unfolds. Is like, quarterback whisperer lives in Minneapolis or not?
Well, that was going to be my question.
With JJ's going to be the proof in the pudding if he can make him a viable quarterback.
So if the Vikings come out or JJ comes out and looks usable. Like I'm going in with this as his rookie year, and while it's actually not, like, we never got to see him last year, so I'm really looking at this as a rookie campaign for him.
Yeah,
and if the Vikings don't find the same level of success that they did with Sam Darnold, but we can see on the field what it looks like in the old Allen adage of, is JJ taking those steps necessary? Maybe they're still losing games. Maybe they're losing games because of him, but he's developing as the year progresses. Does that give you more of an argument that Kevin O'Connell really is a quarterback whisperer, or because you don't believe, or do you not believe in the talent that is JJ in college and him coming into the NFL?
No, I mean, I watched a lot of college football, and this is, I mean, Michigan fans might feel a different way, but watching him at Michigan, that was a hardball run first team.
Mm-hmm.
That was a defense run first team, and he was able to make some good plays and good throws because of what was there. I think, once you step in the NFL, as much as teams love to establish a run, it's a quarterback first league. Like, you got to be able to throw the short yardage. You got to be able to hit it over the top when needed. And there's super small windows. You're not going to get wide open players like maybe he saw in the Big Ten when you're playing Rutgers. That's just not going to happen. And I think for me, I was never sold on JJ. I think it was kind of nice, but no shot that I think he's going to be like a long-term NFL quarterback or a viable one. But I mean, maybe he can get developed into one. I mean, obviously he's athletic enough and he can't throw it. So there's possibility. I think if I'm a Vikings fan, you're going to have to weather the storm for like the first 4 weeks. It's going to look ugly, but like you said, it depends on how it looks. Like, is he hitting those short intermediate routes? Can he check out of plays? Is he identifying the blitz? Is he doing things like mentally that show you, okay, this guy for the last year has actually been dialed in and has been listening and following. The other thing is O'Connell putting him in the good situations to like make it easier for him. You saw that last year with the Broncos. They did that with Bo Nix. I mean, as much as we hate Sean Payton because he's a scumbag,
hell yeah,
he put Bo Nix in good positions to win. It was play action over the top, like giving him good looks to where, we're not asking you to go out there and read the defense forever. Just here's your read, check to this, do this. And I think that's what they need to do with JJ is just give him, you have Justin Jefferson.
I was going to say, you
have the best wide receiver in the NFL. Just throw it to him, figure out a way. If nothing else, use him creatively to move, identify coverage, take a couple guys out of the way, hit somebody underneath. And I think if they do that, they'll be fine. But I think it's going to take a little while. Yeah.
No, and like I said, this is his rookie campaign for me. So I'm not, it depends on what it looks like. It really does. I had to throw this last piece in here because I did actually shed a couple tears when I heard the news here. Giants fans, I feel your pain. I am just as devastated as you are, but the news broke that a reigning savant of New York is no longer in the locker room, that being Tommy Cutlets. He was cut from the Giants. So in my mind, whichever team does sign him, I think is almost guaranteed a playoff spot. But my heart broke for you in this moment. So,
super sad.
The other thing too is, if I had to sit here and pull the trigger and kill one of these people, being either Jameis Winston or Tommy Cutlets, I'm a ride or die Jameis guy.
Yeah.
So I
shed a tear.
You
shed a tear and you pull one in Cutlets and you just move on.
Yeah. It's like you have to choose your favorite parent kind of thing, where it's like you love your mom or your dad more, and it's like, well, I love them both, but
yeah. They say like in the corporate world, sometimes people are personality hires. You're here because you're the vibes you bring. That's like Jameis.
100%.
Like, all right, you're hanging out here because you help the room be comfortable and not so uptight. I will say this. I know this is not in the notes at all. I kind of like Dart.
I've been saying it.
I've been saying he looked kind of good.
He won the NFL preseason MVP.
He's our preseason NFL. He's the LeatherBrainz, unofficial LeatherBrainz preseason NFL MVP, which we don't throw that around lightly. Oh. And knowing that he won that award comfortably is no small feat. I'll be interested when the ammo's live. It's actually live ammo. Let's see it. But I would say it looks right.
It does look right. I've been saying this.
It depends on what it looks like. I felt like that looked accurate.
It did, and it's preseason. So that's the. I think we had this conversation a week or two ago here on the show. I'm trying to temper my expectations because it's the Giants.
Just let that boner fly.
But
just let it go.
I said this. I went back and watched a lot of film on him in college, and He's not buttoned up. He's not like, this super ready. And that's why he fell in the draft to 21st or 22nd when the Giants traded up to get him. But I watched him and I was like, I got just the inkling of a semblance of Josh Allen, like his play style, what he does. And I was like, man, I don't want to sit here and compare him to Josh Allen because I'm going to get a lot of heat for it. But he's like a Josh Allen light. And I watched him in the preseason games, and he kind of showed that a little bit, where I was like, he can throw the ball. He's not afraid to lower. He needs to work on lowering his shoulder because he'll just get hit. But he's not afraid to run the ball. And I think he could be something for the Giants. And so, granted, I don't want to put too much stock in preseason, but
we'll see.
He looked good. He looked really good.
I will say, if nothing else, he's confident. He looks confident, and that's key in anything in life.
He's got the swagger.
Confident,
but that locker room's got to be just insane. You got Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, the pretty boy, and then the finger-eating dub man, Jameis himself. And I'm like, could you imagine sitting in the quarterback? I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Okay, so here we go. Giants, noon on Sunday. They're at the Commanders.
Oh, they get their ass kicked.
They're 6.5-point dogs. What do you need to see coming out of that game to be like, all right, we're cooking? Because it's not going to be Dart right away.
No, I need to see Russell Wilson's fibula sticking out of his body.
You need to see them shit the bed.
Yeah.
Okay, worst nightmare scenario for you then would be if the Giants somehow win this and Russell throws for 3 touchdowns and looks like kind of his old self. That's worst case scenario.
That is worst case scenario. Well, yeah, I think it's worst case scenario for
I think
Giants
it's worst
fans.
case scenario on multiple levels, because what if Jaden Daniels doesn't come out as hot, and now you have all these fantasy people that were taken and hoping for the Commanders. I think the Giants winning big there would actually be bad for America.
I would agree. Overall. I think there would be riots in the streets and the Senate would go down very quickly.
Yeah.
No,
but you're saying Commanders big.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not concerned. I think, Russell's, we know what Russell is. He's about 10 years too far into the league and needs to go. The Giants, we've said this before, they have the hardest schedule in the NFL. They are going to lose a lot of games, and I am still very adamantly standing on the pedestal that week 5, the Jackson Dart era begins when they play against the Saints. So I'm riding that. I'm riding that narrative. I am riding that mentality, and I think that is going to hold true because I think it's going to look really bad. And just like Scotty's mentioned multiple times here on this show, is these coaches are on the hot seat. This front office is on thin ice. And so you have to make the change. You drafted Jackson Dart for a reason. And yes, while I do find a lot of reason to sit a young quarterback on the bench and let him develop, at some point you're going to have to rip it for your own safety and your own career. Yeah. And I think week 5 is the week that happens. So I'm still riding that. I'm not putting any stock in the Giants winning this game.
How cool is it though that we get to talk about actual games?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Let's keep the train rolling. Let's keep moving. Is there any games? I have one game that I'm really I'm circling.
I have a surprise for you.
Okay, I love surprises.
I have a surprise for you. Surprise game I'm interested in, which probably wouldn't have been on your radar for me to pick.
Can I guess?
So in what you can.
Is it the Falcons Bucks?
No. Okay. So in one of my fantasy leagues I've been in for quite some time, we drafted and I unintentionally stacked Murray, Connor, and McBride from the Cardinals.
Welcome, baby. So welcome to the team.
To start this season, I want to see them put up 50 points so I can feel somewhat vindicated about what I just did in this league.
Well, they are playing the Saints, so the opportunity is certainly there.
It's there. So that is my game to watch for multiple reasons. One, I want to see if the Saints are actually as bad as everybody thinks they're going to be.
Yes.
I want to see if that's true, because we say things as truth sometimes, whether it's us on podcasts or in the media. We say things as these are just the truths that we have. And everybody is saying the Saints are going to be awful. And I want that to be true. And I want to see if Kyler's actually going to take a step forward and if this offense is actually going to start clicking.
I have concerns there. I've said that before. I think the Saints are terrible. I think I have them as the worst team in the NFL, and that's not me writing other people's media narratives. That's me just looking at the team and being like, this is ass. This is a terrible product. And I don't believe in Kellen Moore. I've said that multiple times. So I think this team's going to be really bad. From the Cardinals' standpoint, last year was abysmal. Last year I wanted to bash my head against the wall, and I don't know if I'm going to feel that way this year. I kind of lean towards I probably still will. But I'm crossing my fingers and praying at night that they can take steps forward from an offensive perspective. Now, I do think our defense is actually going to be pretty good. I'm actually very excited for our defense, but our offense is really where I still have a lot of question marks, and it really revolves around two things for me. So I just want to prepare you for this, and I want you to, when you are watching that game, watch the play calls. We didn't use a lot of play action last year, and that's where Kyler Murray thrives at because he can't see over the offensive line. So when he can scramble, when he can move, play action is key. And our offense on one drive would look amazing, and then the next drive it would look like a bunch of middle school peewee football kids out there. And I was like, what is happening? So I want to see, are we calling plays that actually really cater to our offensive and cater to our strengths? The other thing that I want to see is Marvin Harrison. I watched a lot of film on him last year as a Cardinals fan, and had a lot of concerns. Namely, his separation was not great. He struggled to get separation, and that's what I'm looking for, is can he get the separation? He put on what seems like 50 pounds of pure muscle. He is a fucking tank-looking guy now that is just ripped, and I'm so excited. But can that translate to more physicality? Can that translate to getting the separation? He's always been a contested catch guy, so that doesn't concern me, but he needs to get the separation. So those are really the two things that I'm interested to see.
So let me tell you why I went with this stack. I generally look at, like, it's not a fantasy. We're not a fantasy show. But when I do it, I always like, can I win? Can I get ahead early in a league? Do I feel like there's an opportunity to get ahead early in the league so I can coast to the playoffs? Yeah. That's kind of like one strategy. But here's why I did it. Here's the Cardinals opening slate of games.
It's fun.
Saints, Panthers, 49ers, could be tough. Seahawks, Titans, Colts.
I know. And
I'm like, okay.
I think there's a chance we're going to the playoffs this year.
If we can get through that stretch with like a good amount of points, then I want to deal Kyler for somebody and get off the train as quickly as I can.
No, but that's smart.
That is like that's my strategy right now, is let me juice up the value ahead of the Packers game in October. That's going to be kind of my strategies. I want to get off the train and then get somebody and get one of these quarterbacks that can get me late into the playoffs. But I think that opening stretch for the Cardinals, even if not even fantasy related, if you're just a Cardinals fan, you got it.
There's a chance that we're 5-0
or 6-0. Maybe we only lose to the 49ers.
Yeah.
Maybe we're 5-1 going into.
Do I hear you're a Cardinals fan this year? Is this kind of what I'm
unintentionally? When it comes to money, I'll take it.
I'll take it. As long as I've got another.
So before I pulled the trigger on doing this, I was like, all right, what do these schedules look like? Like, what am I getting into to start the season? Is it going to be like Eagles, Chiefs, like all these heavy hitters, or am I going to get some cupcakes? And I'm like, okay, this Cardinals opening stretch looks kind of good. So bring it all the way back. My treat for you was I'm watching the Saints game.
Join me, brother. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm here for it, my friend. I am excited because nobody cares about the Cardinals. So if somebody's in this boat with me, and we're paddling in the same direction, it's going to be really fun because we're going to kill ourselves and jump off the boat.
I'll let you know when I get off the train. But
sounds like I got you for like 6 weeks. Right when Rashee Rice comes back, you're going to go play with your new toys.
So this league here, we're just going to do this live, because this league, I did draft Rashee Rice and stored him on my bench, but my other wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Neighbors, Devontae Adams.
Are you playing with like a bunch of people who don't know the game?
Well, this is a 12-team half PPR league, and I was drafting out of like the 10th spot, and I was able to thread this together, and I got McBride.
What? There's like these people don't know how to play fantasy. That's what I'm.
No, they do. They know, but I think it's when there's money on the line, I'm gonna buckle up. We're gonna do some strategy here. But so it's funny you mentioned that, because then at that week 6 mark, there's going to be a lot of movement in my roster. Rashee Rice is coming to the team. I'm going to look to deal probably Kyler or Connor, like whoever I feel like I need to get rid of to get some oomph for the playoff push. But I'm hoping I can be at a solid record by that point to make some moves. Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Well, I like it. The team sounds very good. Going back to week 1 of the NFL, you circled the Saints Cardinals. Thank you. That really bolstered my afternoon. So I appreciate that. The game that there's a couple games here that I'm really excited for. The one that stands out to me the most is the Bills Ravens game. This is week 1, and this is 2 juggernaut teams going head to head to start the season. That excites me, and it's a Sunday night game, so everybody's going to be watching it. But I mean, this is two Super Bowl contending teams right here. So this one, I don't know if there's a lot of analysis that needs to be said other than I'm very excited for this game, and it's my game of the week because I want to see what happens here. I have the Bills winning this game. I've namely said I'm not a Lamar Jackson supporter. I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl. I still firmly stand on that mentality. And I have a lot of belief in Josh Allen. So
I would agree. The wrinkle I would say for that game, I would generally agree with you, is that for some reason the Ravens at the beginning of the season are really, really good.
They are.
And so that could be the other thing. I think all your analysis rings true as the season plays out, but for some reason the Ravens at the very beginning are really, really
and that's
good.
what scares me about it.
Yeah.
But
I think being in Orchard Park, I'm gonna also go Bills. That stadium's always electric. And to start the season, Sunday night game, that stadium is gonna be on fire.
It's gonna be awesome.
Maybe literally.
Yeah.
It might literally be on fire, but it will
the parking lot for sure will be with all
something
the tables
will be on
and
fire.
stuff. Yeah,
things will actually be on fire.
Yes. We've talked about the NFC North a lot. All the NFC North teams are playing against each other. So we have the Lions and the Packers, and then we also have the Vikings and the Bears. Between those two games, which one are you more interested in seeing play out?
So like the true football fan of like good football, you want to see football being played at a high level, is going to say Packers Lions.
Of course.
If you're degenerates like us and just total nasty boys, you want to watch the Vikings and Bears to see what is actually going on with this team. Because I don't think many people, like the greater populace, is going to be like, I want to see JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams go at it. Like that's not ringing very many. Like the Swifties are not paying attention to this game. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah,
degenerates like us should be paying attention to this Vikings Bears game, because I think you got the Monday night game in Chicago. You want to see, what does this offense finally look like? You know, I always think of like sick, nasty things. Like, what if JJ McCarthy like goes off and the Vikings win this? Like, what is happening to that Bears
fan base? Yeah,
but we're Bears fans. We're Bears fans. So
are.
I don't want to see that happen. But I think that's Monday night game. I think what a perfect, just nasty Monday night game.
It's like it's literally the dessert after the big meal, and that's what this game is. And I'm so excited. That is another game, and the fact that it's Monday night where I don't have to pay attention to any other games and I can just sit there and veg out and just consume this game. I'm so excited for it because there's a lot of storyline here. There's a lot of, I want to see what this looks like. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, JJ. Like this, it's gonna be so awesome. I'm so pumped for it.
What would make you max horny? Is it the Bears winning by like 40 and Caleb Williams just looking like an MVP front runner already?
Yeah, as a Bears podcast,
I think so too.
My meat is going to be beat if that happens. But
the total's 43.5. I mean, I'm going to tease this all the way to like 70 because that's how many points I want to see the Bears.
You're like over. Just
we're going way over, baby.
I think 43 is actually pretty fair because both these offenses over the last couple of years.
Okay, that's fine. If I can't move 43, then I hope it's 44-0.
Look, I'll hit the over with you. Like fuck it. Let's just. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I'm trying to reel in expectations just a little bit. That game I would also choose over the Packers Lions, not because I don't think there's a lot of like, that game is also just really important, which is crazy for week 1 to sit here and say this game is important, but this game is important. Every single one of those divisional games for the NFC North is going to be important. It's crazy that they all are playing in week 1.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet.
It is.
I'm pretty excited. I have one more nugget to throw at you.
Yeah, throw them smack
for week 1 games. Dolphins are at the Colts. Don't look at the line.
Okay.
If I said the Dolphins are playing at the Colts, what would you put that line at?
Dolphins.
This was an interesting line. The Dolphins are at Indianapolis, and we just talked about Daniel Jones. We just talked about Richardson. We just talked about, do they know what they have? What would you set that line at?
I would probably say 42.5.
Okay, over under. What would you put the spread at? Would you say Dolphins favored, Colts favored?
I would say Dolphins are favored by 4.5.
The Colts are 1.5 point favorites against the Dolphins at home. Vegas knows something.
Vegas, either that or they're
just go hammer the money line.
I was gonna say, hammer the money line. Like either Vegas knows something, or this is the problem. This is every degenerate's dream where it's like we know more than Vegas and we don't.
That looks stinky. That looks super stinky.
Yeah.
The Colts are 1.5 point favorites against the Dolphins.
But you also think about it, like Daniel Jones is not great. But look at the other pieces on this offense. You got Jonathan Taylor coming, and he's a great running back. You got Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, the whole slew of Joshua Downs, but then also Tyler Warren. Like, they have weapons, and I think that's not being looked at enough, perhaps. This is the best group that Daniel Jones has ever played with, too. Like,
Could be.
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah.
So you put all that into account, and I do have a lot of concerns about the Dolphins. I've voiced them on the show before, but I'm really concerned with Tyreek Hill, and is the cheetah finally going to start slowing down? Tua's a brain scramble away. Like, and Devon A-Chain, their running back, he's already not healthy, and the game NFL season hasn't started yet. So there's some problems. There's some problems.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's have Yeti create some graphics. Like, let's let this be the DGen game of the week, the 1.5, the Colts.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the what would be our, so like we talked about a lot of games. Like, what's our LeatherBrainz game of the week? Is it going to be the Vikings Bears? Should we just do that one?
As a Bears podcast, I think, starting off on our good foot, I think week 1, that should be our.
So that's our game of the week. And then the DGen game of the week is that 1.5 that the Dolphins are getting in Indianapolis. That's like our stinky money line or stinky spread.
The stinky spread.
Hey, so I wanted to deliver that gift for you. I purposefully held off texting you or the group about who I drafted, because I'm like, we're just going to talk about this on the pod, and I'm not even going to put it anywhere. I'm just going to tell you.
No, it makes me happy. It makes me excited. It makes me feel like I have someone in my corner, even if it's only for week 6 until you inevitably trade away all the team. I've at least got somebody to join me for a few weeks of either sadness or happiness. So thank you for doing that.
I'm tuned in. I'm locked in at noon.
Yeah. Welcome to the club. It's pretty mediocre, but I'm excited to have you on board.
I'm pumped.
Me too. All right. Anything else we want to talk about as we head into week 1?
No, man. We're here. Ready for another season.
Football. We have all over again. Made it. It feels so damn good. I'm so excited that it is finally here. I said it at the top of the show. This is like Christmas, Alan.
Thursday to Monday. We're locked in.
God, it's gonna be great. You have we'll close out with this. You have any more drafts, or are you all drafted up for your fantasy teams?
I might do one fun one with Christy and some other people, but nothing. I'm all drafted up. I'm good to go. I'm locked in. I joined some pick'em leagues, so not necessarily fantasy oriented, but kind of just figuring out what I want to do there too. So I got to think about that.
Yeah. Well, good. It's the degeneracy is now in full force. It's coming out. And as somebody who has no money to blow, it's going to be.
Well, here's my other favorite part is, like, on my drive to work, I have to pass a casino. Sometimes I throw in bets on my way, which is amazing. And she rolls her eyes, but we hit it big towards the end of the season. So
you do. Okay. You do. You either win the Super Bowl or you win a couple $100. So yeah.
I won $500.
Yeah. That's awesome. But you also didn't win the Super Bowl. So hedging your bets.
I've seen 2 out of the last 3 being winners, so I don't think very many people can say that.
Fucking cool, man. Whatever.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm gonna ride this wave. I'm gonna continue to ride this wave.
You should.
Chiefs fan.
You should.
I sat through some bullshit as a Chiefs fan, and so I'm gonna I know this will end at some point. So while it's still happening, I'm just gonna.
And you should. You shouldn't listen to me or anybody else. You should lean into it. Be happy about it, because you're where every NFL fan wants to be with their team.
And here's the funny part to everybody else. Even when Mahomes retires and the Chiefs go back to being shit, I'm still going to talk shit. So, like, this actually doesn't ever end.
How many rings do you have?
This doesn't. I won't even talk about that. I'll make up things to talk shit about. Like, that's probably my greatest gift is I don't care too much, but I care enough to know just what to say to, like, just talk shit about nothing. Just talk shit about nothing. But I'm excited. We're here. I'm an unofficial Cardinals and Bears fan this year as well. So
feels good, my friend. Baby. All right, well, let's do it. Let's close out there. Appreciate all you Brainiacs. Thank you guys for tuning in. Best of luck in week 1 for all you degenerates that are betting and all you fantasy football players out there. We love fantasy football. We're putting out a lot of fantasy content on our platforms. Go follow us on YouTube, LeatherBrainz podcast, and as well as anywhere else that you're getting social media at. So, or podcasts, we're everywhere. We're on all the platforms. Go hit the follow, subscribe button. And if you want notifications, which I highly recommend that you do, turn those on, because we are constantly posting content that is relevant and newsworthy. So go turn those on as well. Alan, let's get the hell out of here. Best of luck week 1, my friend. I love you. We
are
out.
If you enjoyed this episode, Make sure you tune into our new releases every week on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out LeatherBrainz.com for all of your fantasy football needs. And remember, Brainiacs, a championship should be more than a fantasy.